Puritans in their heads. We will leave for America. Begone or we shall hang persecute you. Puritans in reality. Finally we can persecute in peace. Finally they are gone. The Portuguese delegate, on his way to claim all of Africa at the Berlin Conference. Jesters in fiction. Please stop making fun of me. I only wish to be freed from this living nightmare. Jesters in reality. I'm fed, clothed, well paid. I can insult the king without consequences and I'm in some cases among his most important advisors. Harems in fiction. Harems in reality. When at any point of history, he says he owns land. Other countries. We declare independence. No, you can't do that. Nepal in 1788. Please become independent. No. POV. You are Masabumi Hosono. You have survived the sinking of Titanic. You are Japanese. Today I will go fishing in the North Sea. Clueless. Would you look at that? The Russian Baltic Fleet. What are they doing all the way out here? 1907 Dogger Bank incident. Stop giving me your toughest battles. It is literally your job. Give me harder battles. What the frick? We invented exams and gunpowder. We invented microscopes and capitalism. We invented the Industrial Revolution, and lots more. We invented nothing. The war to end all wars, when the Second World War walks in. British-French rivalry. We are the most iconic rivals in history. Yes. Dutch Sea rivalry. I did again Ether. How the Romans saw the Celts. How the Celts saw themselves. Marie Antoinette in movies. Let them eat cake. Marie Antoinette in reality. Funds home for unwed mothers, and buys grain for those in need. Also decadent like most monarchs. That moment when your country used to be one of the strongest, biggest and most influential empire in the entire history of the world only to turn into a nation that just exists. Yo Frank, you trying to evolve today? Lol nah, God's perfect creation. The horseshoe crab. 445 million years of non-evolution. Come to the trenches, we have silly string, party wagons, fun puzzles, spicy air. What's that? We are from the future. Whoa, no way, this is so cool. Huh. During the 9th of November, the world. I'm watching you. Thomas Jefferson trying to negotiate the Louisiana Purchase from the French in 1803. I have $3. Other countries. We are declaring independence. No, you are an integral part of our country. Meanwhile in Southeast Asia, Malaysia, get out, Singapore, okay. Someone, 123 is a funny number, the Polish guy next to him. The world powers waiting to officiate the armistice until 11 AM on 11th of 11th, just because it sounded cool, letting thousands die in the morning leading up to it. We did it, Patrick. We ended war forever. I'm so glad I can be part of this war. I sure hope we'll be back for Christmas. 4 years later. Please free me from this living nightmare. When you ask a chemistry teacher in Nauru why phosphorus isn't on their periodic table. Chinese emperors when the function has liquid mercury. Cuba must be blocked from world trade until they replace communism with democracy. We are opening up trade with communist China, which will surely turn them into a capitalist democracy. POV, you tried to impeach Boris Yeltsin. Irish Republicans thinking about the best idea for a present for the upcoming visit of Margaret Thatcher. A bomb. When you are a French vassal, but you own more France than France does, do you feel in charge? Eats poisoned mushrooms, craps himself, announces that he crapped himself, refuses to elaborate further, dies. The last snip of the 100,000 French troops being evacuated from Dunkirk. The first ship of those 100,000 French troops being repatriated straight back to France. When your daughter wants to be treated like a princess, and she finds out she's being married off to the heir to the Belgian throne. I want a perfect soulmate. That will cost you an arm and a leg. What can I get for a rib? Make peace with the USA. Some British guy writes God save the Queen. The rest of the world needing new anthems. Columbus freed from slavery, settles in Brazil after abolition 1888. 1980, the Brazilian government evict them to build their space station. Pharaohs and their carven stone statues. Pharaohs in real life. So you see, that's where the trouble began. That smile. That damned smile. Canadians normally. Forgive me, friend. Canadians in wars. I'm fluent in over 6 million forms of kicking your butt. George Gingowan. Alan Turing. Being absolute war heroes in their country, but being trashed out by their own country post-war. Where are the Cathars? France. I said, where are the Cathars? France. Woman who's really good at card tricks. Medieval people. Kaiser Wilhelm II 0.2 milliseconds after his country shows a sign of revolution. I go to the Netherlands. Brothers and sisters are natural enemies, like Persians and Greeks, or Trojans and Greeks, or Romans and Greeks, or Greeks and other Greeks. Damn Greeks, they ruined Greece. Spanish Empire, you extracted all the gold from me and no one bats an eye. Rome, I extract gold from the Americans and I'm the worst. That doesn't seem fair. If I invade Laconia, I shall turn you out. If, me think, why waste time say a lot word, when few word do trick. Revolutionaries, kill a dictator. Citizen, now what do we do? Revolutionaries. Your crush. Her father. Her ex. Her brother. Her other brother. You. Caesar arriving in Egypt and discovering Pompey is dead. They don't know this poster is actually satire. Stalin is highly suspicious of doctors, persecutes them. Stalin has stroke. No doctors are available to help. Stalin. Promise you won't cry? I promise. Laker probably died scared and confused while overheating in Sputnik 2. I won't cry. Abrahamic religion with alcohol 37 kilometers away. Abrahamic religion, no alcohol, half a kilometer away. Kevin Russ. State of Georgia. General T. Sherman. Abe Lincoln. The Confederates. Me, history fan, reading about anything that happened before 1750. American men in the 1960s, when they don't want to die in some jungle in Asia. I'm gay. Medieval night on the march in fiction. Maybe we should stop and protect the women and children from bandits. Medieval night on the march in reality. Sack the village, gather all the food and the young women. French government at any point in history exists. French people. Alexander the Great playing war games at 16. Me playing war games at 16. England treats Ireland and India like garbage and their people like they're subhuman. Ireland and India, we are rebelling against you. England. My heart. When somebody simps about Japan. When somebody talks about Cold War and explains mechanics. Prussia. Jan Badal Bokassa returning to the Central African Republic 7 years after his regime was overthrown. I wonder who that's for. Zhou Dynasty. We overthrow the Shang Dynasty. We work for the good of the people. We become corrupt and the people revolt. Shin Dynasty. We overthrow the Zhou Dynasty. Random country. Hey Denmark, want to help us in this war? Denmark, no, not really. Random country, it's against Sweden. Denmark. 200,000 units ready, with 1 million more well on the way. This ancient writer's account is clearly biased and unrealistic. He's the only source we have. Historians of ancient history. Ancient Rome haters, when they realize it wasn't a brutal imperialist slave state, but was actually just guys with cool armor and big marble buildings. I get it now. Internet weirdos trying to convince people that Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette are tragic figures that deserve sympathy. People who know that they petitioned the Holy Roman Empire to invade France to keep them in power. Nikola Tesla's life be like. Burn through savings on a project. Project fail or is stolen. Burn through savings on a project. Project fail or is stolen. Burn through savings on a project. The first time you look into the past of companies created before the 1940s. Why the F are so many of them war profiteers? Mentally ill people in Europe. I hear voices. We will lock you in mental asylum for the rest of your life. Mentally ill people in 20th century Africa. Holy Spirit told me to overthrow the government. Those magical oils will protect you from bullets. Yes, my queen. I see poisoners and assassins. I see you Mithridates alone. And a lot of poison. Jesus, that's a lot of poison. Soviet Union. Gazing German concentration camps. You have freed us. Oh, I wouldn't say freed, more like under new management. Learning Spanish because your school makes you. Learning Spanish in order to better yourself. Learning Spanish to communicate with new and interesting people. Learning Spanish so you can yell at Argentines online about who owns the Falklands. It happened again. Meanwhile, Thomas Edison just got a new idea, might file another patent soon. Your next task is to name all principalities in the Holy Roman Empire. First guy watching some guy wrap some filling in flour dough and steaming it. Hol up, let him cook. Glad the Impaler discovers marshmallows. Well, these are freaking great. How the soldier portrays the war to his mother. What the war really was. Wrestling is boring. If only they would start fixing matches to make things more interesting. A couple centuries later, yo. My dumb butt learning America was established 100 years before Germany. Psychopaths. Serial killers. Literary circles who enjoyed works by Gabriel Matzneff. Revolutionaries. Kill a dictator. Citizen. Now what do we do? Revolutionaries.